Today we are going to study how to conducting scientific studies with statistical analyses. The scientific method is a proven procedure for expanding knowledge through experimentation and analysis. It is a process that uses careful planning, rigorous methodology, and thorough assessment. Statistical analysis plays an essential role in this process. Following are the steps in a scientifically rigorous study. Step 1. Research your study area. Good scientific research depends on gathering a lot of information before you even start collecting data. The first step of your study is to formulate a research question. This is the question you want your study to answer. Research questions must be clear and concise. Therefore, readers of your short research question should clearly understand the goal of your study. A literature review is a very extensive background investigation into your research question. There are two primary goals of a literature review for a scientific study that involves statistical analysis. First, you need to understand fully the subject area that contains your research question. Secondly, you need information that helps you operationalize your study. Thus, the research phase should produce a research question, in-depth knowledge of the subject area and relevant findings, and a thorough understanding of how other researchers have operationalized similar studies. Step 2. Operationalize your study plan. During this step, you take your research question, using the background information you gathered, and formulating an actionable plan. Define your variables and measurement techniques. You must define the variables that you will measure. If you do not collect the correct data or measure it inaccurately, you might not be able to answer your research question. Typically, studies want to understand how changes in one or more independent variables affect the dependent variable. You will also need to specify how you will take measurements. Precision and accuracy are essential in research. Be sure that your measurement instruments and test scores are valid. Create a sampling plan. Researchers must specify the particular population they are studying. After you define your population, you need to devise a plan for collecting a sample from that population using unbiased methods. Finally, how much data should you collect? You want to collect enough data to have a reasonable chance of detecting a practically significant effect. Design the experimental methods. You will need to define your hypothesis in a form amenable to statistical analysis and choose the appropriate analysis. These methodology decisions start at a very high level, such as choosing between a randomized experiment or an observational study. From there, you can work your way down to more fundamental questions. The more tests you perform, the higher the overall chances of a false result. Making these methodology decisions in advance helps you avoid using multiple techniques and cherry-picking the best results and reduces data mining, which lowers the probability of finding chance correlations. Step 3. Data collection. At this point, you have operationalized your study and have a plan of action. After you make the necessary arrangements, you should be ready to collect data. Depending on the nature of your research, this can be quite a long process. Whether you are in the lab measuring, out administering surveys in the field, or working with human subjects, data collection is often the portion of the study that takes the most time and work. Often, you will need to set up the proper conditions to make measurements and verify that everything is working correctly. Perhaps you need to get the lab conditions just right and ensure the equipment is functioning properly to obtain valid measurements. Or you are going through a detailed process to obtain a truly random sample. Sometimes it is difficult to recruit a sufficient number of human subjects. The procedures might also involve training other personnel to perform tasks precisely as prescribed. Step 4. Statistical analysis. Like the data collection stage of your study, you should already have the analysis phase defined. If you are winging it, you are not doing it right. In a nutshell, be sure that you are analyzing the data correctly, satisfying the assumptions where necessary, and drawing the proper conclusions. Problems along the way can prevent you from making discoveries or invalidate the findings well before you even get to the statistical analysis. If you put wrong data into the statistical analysis, it will spit out wrong results. If all the steps leading up to your analysis are not carefully thought out and performed, you might not be able to trust the results or miss important findings. Science is all about getting all the details correct. Step 5. Writing the results. After you collect the data and analyze it, you need to write up the results to inform other researchers about what you have found. Indicate which hypotheses the data support, the overall conclusions, and what they represent in the framework of the scientific field or real-world setting. The scientific method works by replicating results or the failure to do so. The scientific process tends to cause the correct answers for research questions to rise the top over time through successful replication. Conversely, it weeds out incorrect results after they fail to replicate. Consequently, you will need to provide enough information about how you conducted your study so other researchers can repeat it and, hopefully, replicate the results. Typically, you will include aspects of the first 4 steps: background research, operationalization, data collection, and analysis, in the final write-up. The standards vary by field, so you should see how studies in your area document themselves. In this manner, your research becomes part of the knowledge base for future studies to build on, just like you did during your literature review. Additionally, all the details help other researchers determine the strengths and weaknesses of your study so they can interpret the results while understanding the context. That's all for this topic. See you again in our next topic.